Well, how does your belief in God factor in with the other religions that exist? I mean, have all those people got it wrong?
How does it factor in? What do you mean by that?
Well, what makes you think you've got the right one if there are other religions with a different view of what God is?
That's a very hard question to do over the internet, because I can't really prove anything to help you see that. But if we think about it logically first, then I'll try and answer that question. I don't want to be a dodger. If God exists, right, do you think that he would be logically consistent within himself? Okay, let me say this. Do you think that the being that created the universe and the cell in the genome... I don't
necessarily think there's a being that created the universe, but sorry, go on.
If there was a being that is powerful enough to create the cell and the genome and the amazing human body and the fine balancing of the sun and the moon and the earth and the solar system and the laws of physics and the chemical constants, do you think that being is consistent in himself to know who he is?
You would like to think so, but I don't think that could be taken as a given.
Do you think? Yeah. Let's just say there was two religions. And let's not say 10,000 religions. Do you think that God would be able to have two religions be compatible with each other that are contradictory? Do you think it's possible for two mutually exclusive things to exist?
Is that a logical fallacy, two mutually exclusive things?
Yeah, of course. It's like saying this thing is 3 and 4 at the same time, or this thing is black and also white, or
Well, God did create quantum mechanics, I guess, so maybe. I think they could exist at the same time.
Okay, if something's mutually exclusive, it means that they can't overlap in the set of all possibilities. There's no overlap. Or there's enough non-overlap that they would be logically inconsistent.
But I guess what's the point you're trying to make?
So, is it possible for two religions that are mutually exclusive to both exist and be true at the same time?
You're saying some religions are wrong?
Well, they'd be wrong if they didn't match up to the God. So there can only really be one truth. And if that truth is summed up in religion A, then religion B, if it's mutually exclusive logically to who God is, then it would be wrong, correct?
If you know what a truth is, then yeah, you can say A is right, B is wrong. But if there's no objective way of telling which one is right, they could all equally be wrong and nobody knows the truth. But you just go into a historical argument with yourself.
But would you agree there can only really be one true religion that's accurate representation of God exists if A and B religion are mutually exclusive logically?
I'd say that
it depends on the sort of God you have in mind, right? If you have in mind a God who wants to be served and he has one set of rules for everybody to follow, then yes, all the right ones would have to be the same. So if they differ along any dimensions, one has to be wrong. But you could dream up different kinds of gods, right? Why is it impossible for there to be a God who decides he wants to be worshipped two exclusive ways by two different groups? As long as we don't know who the God is, we can make up very different cases.
The God could well be a troll that decides to tell all of the people who grow up in Southern America that his name is this and he believes that they must make sacrifices to him, and could tell the Europeans something else and people in Southeast Asia or something a third thing.
He could troll, yes, if he wanted to.
Yeah.
What does that say about the morals of the person setting the moral compass by which everyone's supposed to live?
I would say I'd have more respect for them, to be honest. I think that's hilarious. Just imagine if that was actually true. We all die and we just find out that it's like, no, actually, I'm not even actually really a god, to be honest. Lol, I just happened to be here and observing, and I had some influence. I didn't even make you guys. I just somehow ended up in control enough to make you believe certain things. That would be hilarious. I would find it funny. I mean, tragic, but also funny.
Maybe that's the test he set for us, to see through it and reject it.
Maybe.
Come together as a species.
Maybe.
Don't accept the divisions that are put in front of you.
Modern Satanism dictates that you are actually God yourself, and that each person is their own God, and it's about discovering that fact, that everything else isn't necessarily what it seems, and that ultimately you are your own moral compass and you make your own decisions and try and just be a good person.
Then we get back to this word called good again. We don't actually know what good is ultimately, if there isn't a God.
Good, it's just like every other word. It's defined by society. God didn't invent language, in my opinion. Language shifts over time. Gay used to mean happy, and words evolve in their spelling. I mean, even since mobile phones came along, one of my favorite examples is the word book. Used to come up when you were using early mobile phones and like text speak, and you tried to write the word cool, it would first come up with the word book. And so for about 5 or 6 years, in those early years of mobile phones, teenagers replaced the word cool with book because it was more efficient. And so book started meaning cool, which is hilarious. These things happen all the time. Language evolves based on society's kind of somewhat swaying kind of definitions of it as time passes.
So the word good is very interesting. I'll keep coming back to that because the word good in China means mass surveillance, and or at least in CCP, the word good in Russia means bombing Ukrainians, and the word good in you get the point. North Korea, or maybe not North Korea because everybody hates what's going on there, but the French Revolution, the word good to some people means hanging people,